And welcome back, students. We are going to continue working with Illustrator. Today we are working with the live corners. Now we've already seen live corners in action before. For example, if I've been clicked on one of these shapes here and I go to my direct selection tool, we've seen these before. Like remember when we did the dripping cheese with the pizza? We've seen this here where we clicked on these edges here and we were able to click on one of these here and we can round this. Now remember, if I say if you don't double click, if you end up rounding, it's going to end up pulling the whole shape in. Now that's not what I'm looking to do here. Instead, what I want to do is round maybe just one corner. And the trick with that is that you need to go ahead and click on just that point. Rather than just click and drag, just click on the one point so it changes how it looks compared to those other ones. So that means this point is now selected, so when I click on that and drag, it's just only going to curve that one point. Now, that being said, I want to maybe go ahead and click on two corners at once. So the trick there, if I want to bend both of these two corners, but not these two corners, was that I came in here and I clicked on the shape, I held down the Shift key, clicked on these 2 points, and then I'm able to go to one of the corners. It doesn't matter which one I do, and I can just click and it will manipulate both of those corners. Okay. Now, let's say I want to change these corners here. Right? If I don't want it to be necessarily this round path here, if I double click on this round dot here, you can see that we get this pop-up here on the corners window. And we can change how these corners end up being rendered. So this is the default round. We can go to an inverted round, which flips it so those teeth are now inside. Or we can even do a chamfer, which makes it kind of more of a chopped corner there. Right? For our purposes, let's just go ahead and leave it there. The other things you can look at is the radius, how much do you want that to be affected by, or you can choose to make this more of a relative or absolute counter rounding. I'm going to leave this one. Let's just go ahead and leave this as the inverted round, and I'm going to click OK. Now let's go ahead and look at these other points here. So we have other points that we can go ahead and manipulate. So for example, if I want to manipulate this path right here, I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to make this one to be a chamfer. Now notice that that has affected these here, so I'm going to cancel because I want to affect just this point here. And so I'm going to just go ahead and pull that point in, and when I do that, I'm going to go ahead now and double click on this one, and I'm going to change that, and we'll click OK. And then I'm going to go to this point right here, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that one's set to cancel, so I don't want to affect the other points. Go ahead and drag that one, and I'm going to make sure that one's also set to chamfer. Now the only issue is if I do those points again individually, so you might end up with uneven sides. So remember, if you want these both to be the same, the easiest way to do this is to hold down Shift, grab both of your points, and then drag them into where you want them to go, double click, and apply the style you want. So now they're even. Next, let's focus on these hexagons here. What I want to do is take these here and make them into something that's a little bit more smooth looking. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this first one, and I'm just going to click and drag on that. Now if I just drag that top corner there, you can see that it has also dragged the bottom corner. If I go to this one and I click on one of these corners here, it will also start to drag. Now so notice that one just did a quick automatic click because all I did was I came in here, clicked on that point, and just pulled in right away. Right. So this one I affected all the edges of that one. This one has 2 edges being affected. Now this last one, what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to just double click on these edges here, and I want to change it so these are inverted. Right? And I'm going to click off, click on. Let's go ahead and do a pull inward. Double click. Make sure those are set to inverted round. Let's hold on Shift here, make sure we get all those points. And it looks like it didn't grab this one here, so I can just double click on that one point. So I click these because it looks like I clicked off. Not a big deal, it's easy just to undo. There we go. And there, now we have something that looks a little bit more like a cogwheel. Right? And so we have some different edges that we've gone ahead and applied stuff to. But let's just go ahead and see this in action on a different shape. So let's say I want to make something from scratch. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to make a new artboard. Or not doing that, excuse me. A new artboard. New. And let's go ahead and just zoom over to that there. I'm going to hold the space bar just to scroll over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, change it to a star tool. And let's go ahead and click here and see how many points we have. So we have a 5-point star. That's okay with me. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a 5-point star. Let's go ahead and move that down. And what we're going to do to get started here, let's go ahead and set a color. So I'm going to go ahead and make that blue. Now, you can see that that didn't affect the star here, so let's use the fill. There we go. That looks better. And let's go ahead and again, direct select tool. Let's go ahead and manipulate some of these points here. So I want to take this top anchor point here. Okay, I want to make this so that it's a little smoother star, because right now these edges are pretty jagged. So I'm just going to click and drag here right away on these points, and you can see how the star is slowly moving inward. If I take it all the way inward to here, you can see I get this red line, which means that's as far as I can go. So I'm going to back it up a little bit because I still want to have that distinct star shape, and I'm going to release. Now here's still a star. It's very distinct, but the edges are been rounded, so it gives it kind of a smoother appearance. Now if I wanted to put something on top of that, so for example, I want to go to my polygon tool, and I want to make, let's say, a hexagon. So I'm just going to click and draw a hexagon to go inside of that. But I want that hexagon maybe to be something like this. Try a color that might look good in there. Blue and yellow sounds okay. Or yeah. I don't know. Okay. Just for our purposes of demonstration. And what we're going to do is drag this hexagon in here. And before I try and stylize it, I'm going to want to change my corners. So again, direct selection tool. Double click on our paths here. So let's drag everything in just a little bit. And what I can do is I can, rather than trying to grab down each of the anchor points, I'm just going to right up here to corners. And I can change them right from up here. So I'm going to choose inverted round. And now we have kind of more of a inverted pattern there. I can choose to do chamfer, but let's do inverted round. And if I want, I can still come back here on these anchor points if I want. I'll just click off that. I can adjust those if I want. But what I want to do is take this new shape that I produce here, and we're just going to rotate that just a little bit. I don't want to adjust it, I want to rotate. So it's more centered in the star there. And if we want, I could line it up and try to do anything with holding down the shift key to try and get that to expand a little bit. So looks like it's just a little tad high. Let's put it right there. So there we go. So we've done some live corner exercises for today. So we have these shapes right over here that we've done some work with, and we've also have the star that we've done some work with. Okay. What I want you to do just to finish up this video, I want you to go through and just do some recolor on these. Add some effects like this one. Maybe you want to go ahead and apply, for example, a gradient to it, and you can go ahead and manipulate that. And these ones, maybe you want to go ahead and do, for example, just a solid color fill. You can do that as well. Right? Or you can even go down into the swatches library, and you can choose to look at something there. So maybe I want an earth tone, for example, and I'm going to choose to make this one this more of a dirt brown here, or maybe I want to choose something else. Right? So again, I'm going to leave that up to you guys. So that concludes our notes for today, folks, and I will see you next time.